I'm Steph from Stitching with Steph, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be working on week 2 of our geisha design, as you can see here on the screen. This particular canvas is an on-branded canvas. It is 46 by 66 centimeters. It is 11 count, and it does consist of 26 colors. If I did find a link for this particular design, I will leave it here saying link in bio, and then I'll go ahead and leave a description in my actual video. If you're a subscriber, thank you for coming along for this journey today. I really appreciate the support and you returning to watch my video. If you're not a subscriber and this is the type of content that you like, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you particularly like this design or this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Lastly, if you're new here, go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know where you're watching this video from. I like to know where my viewers are watching from. So let's go ahead and dive into this week 2 geisha design of our Stitch With Me. Alright, as you can see here, I've been slowly working on this project. I was working on this section here in the first week, but I kind of got bored with stitching that same color because you can see it's a lot of that color. So I switched over for this week. Number 14, which is, let's see, number 14 is this symbol here, and it's DMC 819. So I figured that I could work on this part here, and it's not the same color here. As you can tell, they're kind of similar. So it doesn't necessarily have, I mean, it's pretty close in color, but I just got tired of stitching the same color because it was a lot. I think that was a couple of threads in, so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna do something different this week. So I was filming some videos yesterday and I wasn't feeling too well, so I couldn't finish up my stitching, my Stitch With Me's this week. So here I am picking up a little bit more right now for us, so that way we can get some done here. Alrighty, let's see. So tonight I do have to work. So there's that for us as our working schedule. This is the needle that came with this project, and I kind of feel like it's a little too big for the holes, maybe? I don't know. I'm having a hard time doing this Dutch stitch with it. So this one might take me longer than I normally do with my other projects. These holes, even though it's a size 11, and you can clearly tell by how big the squares are, I feel like the holes are a little bit more tighter, if that makes sense, where I'm stitching, so no big deal. Does anybody else have to work today? Tonight I'm training a new person again, so I do kind of have a migraine from not feeling well yesterday, and then even though I was drinking a lot of fluids, I was sick to my stomach for a couple of days, which we all know can lead to dehydration. Even though I was drinking lots of electrolytes and stuff like that, I woke up with a migraine today, so that was not fun, to be honest. So I took my migraine meds to see if that will help me a bit, and started taking more electrolytes. So this is one of those holes right now that I'm not going to be able to do the Dutch stitch in. I'm gonna have to go top to bottom. So I noticed with this particular canvas, I'm gonna have to do the stitching top over bottom, if that makes sense. I think this design is going to be really cute. And like I said in my intro card, I will go ahead and put a link in the bio. I did find one on AliExpress, however, it is not a stamped. I have not been able to find a stamped version of this. I did find a counted, so if you're interested in this design and you're brave enough to take on a counted, I do have that in the link in my like description and in my bio for all that. So if you like the design and you do count it, then it's there for you. If not, I'm sorry guys, I didn't find a stamped version for you. Again, I've had this one in my stash for so long that I'm not surprised that I didn't find it. I think I got this from like Biggest Craft several years ago. I looked all the way back at my orders from Biggest Craft. I think I've had this in my stash for like 4 years. And the problem that I have, the problem that I have is I like all the designs. And then I buy them and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get to them. Like I told my husband, I have enough like crafting stuff to last me until I'm 100 at this rate. Like when we go to retire, we're gonna be good. I'm gonna have something to do every day. Even like we plan on traveling when we go to retire. I'm like, I'm gonna have stuff to do like on the airplane and car rides and he supports me in my journey because it makes me happy and he knows that I have fun doing it. I'm not the type to necessarily go out with like a lot of people and I like to spend a lot more time with like my husband and my kids, not necessarily going out and about with friends. A lot of my friends live out of state now. Or I'll be honest, sometimes I feel like I don't like drama, so I don't like hanging out with people a lot because I don't like being pulled into those kind of situations. So I like to keep to myself a lot. That's just who I've always been. I was even like that as a child. I mean, if my friends come to me and ask me for help, naturally I'm gonna give help, but I don't like involving myself in other people's situations unless they ask me to step in. So I kind of just keep my distance most of the time. I'll try to take a look again on AliExpress. Maybe I can try to find a stamped version. Again, it's an unbranded kit, so those ones you tend to, if you find them and there's not a brand listed on like the website, definitely snatch up the design when you can, because more often than not, it's probably going to be sold out. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. And I don't mind doing top over bottom like this. I should put this in a hoop, but I'm being lazy. Or a frame, I guess you would say, not a hoop. Because I don't really do hoops. I do frames, like Q-snap frames. Later this week, I'm thinking probably like next Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be starting my large koi fish stamped kit. I did post a sneak peek of that over on my social media, so if that's something that you want to go see how I have my setup ready to go, I do have it over on my Instagram, which is stitching_with_steph. So if you want to see what kind of stand I'm going to be using for that very large project, it's over there. But that one's going to stay on that stand for a while. I do have it currently covered with like a sheet, just because I don't want dust on it and all that fun stuff that comes along with something sitting for a while. And then also I have it close to one of my windows so I can see better while I'm stitching, because it is such a large project. That way, it protects it from the sun as well, so it doesn't do sun bleaching on my threads or on my canvas itself. So yeah, I have a sheet over it right now. What did I do? Oh, nothing apparently. No, did I? What is there? Ah, right there. Let me see. Oh, there we go. I was able to pop it out. So I'll probably, again, just like my stitch with me that I posted earlier in the week. I'll either go till this thread runs out, this thread runs out, or I'll end up rethreading just to make sure that it's in the time frame. Sorry guys, I'm unwinding my thread because I'm being lazy today. I just kind of let it dangle and then let it untwist. Sorry. I'll either continue using this thread and it'll be the length that we typically like, which it seems like a lot of my viewers like between 20 and 30 minutes. I think they enjoy it because then they don't have to keep stopping their projects and looking for another stitch with me. So clearly this is where I'm at today, guys. Bear with me, I'm going to pause you. I'm going to rethread my needle. All right, we are good to go. Got that needle rethreaded. So yeah, I'm a hand threader for the most part. Especially like in corners and stuff like this. As we work our way into the middle of this canvas, because I'll always, I like doing stitch with me's, seeing a project all the way through. I feel like a lot of stitch with me's, you never get to see the project worked through. So although I do progress on them between like the weeks of us stitching, as you can clearly see, like my April monthly one, I had a lot of progress on it, but we were on video number 2, so week 2 of that stitch with me. So I do work on them throughout the weeks, so that way we could at least see some project going, or some progress going on with them, because again, that's one thing. Although a lot of people do floss tubes for like updates, I want to do floss tubes more or less like my starts and finishes and stuff like that. Not necessarily just progress. I feel like when we start a stitch with me, like we're starting it together, right? Like we should be working on it together, is the way I feel. And stitching one-handed like this can be challenging, especially when you're looking for that hole. Like you'll hear me popping along my back looking for that hole. So that way we can kind of at least see what we're doing. Okay, I'm gonna grab some water. My throat's feeling a little dry here. I'm gonna park this right there. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I tend to have to wet my whistle a lot while I'm doing videos, so I don't want to have you guys hear me chug-a-lug on the mic, so I just pause it and take a drink real fast and then resume my videos. So hopefully I have this one. I have kind of like a schedule of what I work on, what days, just so I can make some progress on my projects. So I think I'm working on this one 2 days this week. I'm working on, let's see, let me look at my schedule here. So I'm going to be working on my counted cross stitch, my April theme, my Geisha, and my Sailor Moon. So I dedicate, because I'm very efficient at my studying and schoolwork, I'll be honest, the rest of the semester I essentially only have 1 paper due and like 2 tests. That's it. So I'm pretty much done with my semester, so I can do a little bit more. With school, I just figure out like approximately how many hours I want to study, and then like how many hours I want to dedicate to my cross stitching. So even if it's like 30 minutes for that day, that's what I'll do. And sometimes I'll just do that like right before I go to bed or after my kids go to bed. Because I do a lot of my studying while my kids are in school. So as soon as I get out of class, I'll study for several hours on the days that they're in school. But since summer's coming, I'll probably be getting up around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and start my studying until about noon every day. Again, I only work 3 days a week, so I get a lot of studying time in and like time with my family and filming. Um, I always make sure that I study. So, like I was telling my husband, my boys want to go fishing a lot this summer. So I told him that works for me just because I can take like my PowerPoints and my notes with us while my kiddos are fishing. Because they don't really pay attention to what I'm doing as a mom. I'm just there supervising because my kids are older. Um, they don't need mom as much, if that makes sense. So I figured I can take my iPad and like my podcasts and stuff like that with me, and I can just study while we're out at the lakes fishing and hanging out as a family. My daughter does the same thing when we're out and about, and she's studying too. Because my daughter wants to go to school to do radiology. Her end goal. Oh, hold on. It sounds like she's printing stuff. Sorry if you hear my printer going. I'm in my office/crafting space. And it sounds like my daughter's printing stuff for school as we speak. um, she wants to go to school to end up getting a doctorate in radiology. So she's studying nonstop all the time as well. So we're both in school. And the boys in the house just kind of live their best life until they're ready to go off to college themselves. My middle schooler, he's finishing up and getting ready to head into high school, and he wants to do aeronautical, like aerospace types, electrical engineering is what he said. I don't expect it to stay that. I'm pretty sure he'll end up changing but I don't know, that kid, once he's kind of set in his ways, he's set in his ways. So he could be going to school for that. Who knows? And then my youngest, being a typical fourth grader, Mom, I want to do YouTube. I was like, that's great, but we do YouTube for fun. So he's my free-spirited child, to say the least. Kind of like how I told him, Mommy only does it for fun, to make, new friends and do things to keep her busy, entertainment for others. Mommy doesn't necessarily do it for any other purpose. So now that he sees that, he kind of understands, but who knows? We'll see. What about you guys? Any of you have little ones that are overly ambitious or lack thereof? I have a feeling my daughter's going to come barging through that door, so if you hear her in the background, I apologize. She's probably going to come in and get her stuff that she printed. Whatever I get done on this, with this thread, that's where I'll probably end this video, just because I don't feel like rethreading today. A whole nother one, but hopefully it'll be right around the time frame. I think we're almost at 20 minutes so far. If you're new here, do you like longer stitch with me's or shorter stitch with me? Leave a comment below of what you prefer. As somebody that's new to my channel, Like I said, my people that are already subscribed, the majority of them like a longer one, but according to my analytics, a lot of people click out of my videos right around like 15 minutes. So I'm thinking I might shorten them unless people chime in the comments of this video or any video for that matter. I think between 15 and 20 minutes is a good length. But I'm the type of person, I like a little bit longer ones because I don't like looking for a new one, if that makes sense. Because some days I can literally stitch, like, for example, on my day off this weekend, we kind of just hung out and watched TV, and I was listening to Stitch with Me's, and I was also doing laundry. So I literally stitched. I think my husband made fun of me because I sat and stitched for like 6 hours. I was like, at least all my schoolwork and everything was done, right? My schoolwork was done. I was off for my stretch for the week. So I'm like, at least it's done. I'm not like avoiding responsibilities to not do things. So that's always nice. Okay. Alrighty, so I'll try to work on this one through the week like I have it scheduled. Here's another half of that long thread that I have for this color. So I'll probably work on this one just to try to finish more of this color here. So I think what I'm going to do, I may call it for this video. All right, friends, that wraps up this Stitch With Me. That's, again, our Geisha Week 2. Thank you for coming along for this journey and staying all the way till the end. I really appreciate the support. If you want to follow me on other social media platforms, I do have a TikTok as well as an Instagram. That's where I do like little sneak peeks of what I've been working on through the week, what's upcoming. I also send out notifications of when a new video is live in case you don't have notifications on YouTube. So on both of those platforms, my username is stitching_with_steph. Again, thank you for staying till the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this particular stitch with me, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.